So this is going to be a commentary video that I wanted to make simply because this past weekend was pretty bad, and in the background is just some footage from this past weekend where I tried to install Proxmox on my home server. Didn't turn out too well. That said, I don't think Proxmox is for me. As someone who got it installed finally, I didn't like that a lot of it had to be set up by hand, and it had a lot of like custom configuration to make it work. There wasn't a lot of easy to find documentation. I had to Google and then discover upon the wiki like how to add my disks, add them to a thin pool. Required knowledge I know because I'm a Linux system administrator, but it really wasn't something that I think is really a great intro. Maybe I just got a bad version, or there's a guide that should have been easier for me to find that just didn't. But once I finally got it up and running, I did like that I could do OpenVZ containers. I think that's really cool. But it's something that, well, that's one feature I thought was nice. Getting the disk configured, and then when I finally set up my KVM to try and master my graphics card, which I know this system can do, it didn't want to pass properly. And when I did finally get it to pass through, error 43 occurred. I tried everything that they have in their tutorials to make it work, and I just couldn't get it to work properly. Something that I know how to fix if I'm doing KVM pass-through on my own by just installing Linux and installing ACS patch and going into the VM configuration file and adding the fake hardware ID. So it's something I know how to fix really easily. But on top of all of that going wrong and me just on stream confused trying to figure stuff out live, I finally just realized, I don't know if this is right for me. And the thing that topped it all off, made even better, was the machine I was using to stream, which was my $2,000 MacBook Pro 16-inch. Just died. It was plugged in and charging with the official charging cable, but apparently it could not keep up with me streaming, and it just died. So first I thought it died, like no longer worked, but thankfully that wasn't the issue. It was just a simple come in and let it charge on its own. So apparently I was draining the battery faster than it could operate. Well, faster than it could charge. So that was fun. And as I was sitting there and I was thinking, I kind of came up with this idea of, it's been a while, and you've even installed the new Big Sur release, and there's been little things that I've noticed that are starting to bug me about Mac, and also the fact that I'm afraid of doing and installing certain things that just don't know how the system works under the hood that well. So my home server is now back to being my desktop again. So look forward to new interesting content of me no longer having that as my home server. I have two little Lenovo M93P machines that I'll do some content on here soon. They're going to be my new home lab. And my Ryzen 7 machine is back as my primary desktop. And so far I'm liking it. I'm back on Fedora 32. Went with Cinnamon Edition as recommended by a few people, and Cinnamon's starting to grow on me. I don't have too much else to say right now. I just wanted to bring you guys up to date on Proxmox. I don't think it's for me. I think it can be great depending on your use cases, but the fact that I had to Google to find the documentation on the wiki, there was no quick, easy way to find the documentation. The way that you have to configure the disks, there's no just easy way to click and get them to mount that I could find, and you have to sit there and go into the console and set up thin provisioning with LVM. Fine, I know how to do that, but there's so many tools out there that are so much easier. And then the fact that I couldn't get the KVM pass-through to work, even though the ACS patch kernel is in there, I got it to go through, but couldn't for the life of me get the error 43 to go away. following all their suggestions and even stuff on other forums. And after just dealing with so many quirks and minute differences that seem to be very specific to Proxmox, I just was like, you know what? I can set this up myself and do it all manually and have a much better experience, so why am I bothering going through all of this headache? So with that said, I'm back. It's no longer a home server. It's my desktop again. I'm running Fedora 32 Cinnamon. On top of that, my new home lab is going to be the 2 mini computers I've ordered, and that are now sitting over on my desk, ready to go and be provisioned to do whatever I need them to. My MacBook is still here, using it for some stuff, but my primary workstation is back to running Linux. I look forward to making more content for you guys, and thank you for paying attention to this short little update. Have a great day, great weekend, and my regular streaming rotation should be back Tuesdays and Thursdays next week. Thank you all again, and goodbye.